Hi, and welcome back to Planning for Beginners 10 Minutes at a Time. I'm Karen Nichols, and I am on a lifelong journey to tranquility. This has been going on many years, and I expect it will go on many more, and I would love you to join me on this journey where we will learn to corral the chaos and find some peace and some margin in our lives to be able to just sit back and chill for 1 minute. I hope you're not overwhelmed by what we have done so far. And I know I was not exactly clear on write down everything last week. When I said write down everything, I basically meant just a list. I didn't mean paragraphs and paragraphs about each thing, just a basic list of everything that's in your mind that you have got to do. Let's just say the 100-mile yard sale. It's got a lot of components, but when I wrote down my brain up, I just put 100-mile yard sale. That gets it on paper, reminds me that it's coming up, and then I deal with it. We deal with that in another step. Also, remember to go through these videos at your own pace. If you haven't finished the last video, go back, watch it again, and do what you need to do. If you looked at the first two and you haven't done any of it yet, just stop right now. Just go back to video one and just do it one video at a time at your pace in a way that makes sense to you. Last time we emptied all of our thoughts onto paper, reviewed, and prioritized them. Now, I'm sure there are some projects on that list that you knew you should have been working on last week. But there's always these projects that we just want to keep putting off and putting off. And I had to think a long time about why is that? And I've came up with three reasons. They're certainly not the only reasons, but I think they're three very common reasons, at least for me, why you put off a project. One, it's simply too large to wrap your mind around. Two, we don't have what we need to do the project. And three, we just don't see any value in the project. And I just want to address each one of these briefly. If the project is too large, it's because it needs to be broken down into tasks. Project is the big picture, task is the step by steps. For example, the 100-mile yard sale, right here. These are all the things I need to do before I even start packing up my car to go and set up for this 4-day event. When I was thinking about doing these videos, I kept putting off doing these videos. So finally, I broke it down into the components. What do I need to do? Type a script. Yes, I type a script because as you saw on the last one, if I'm tired, I'll just ramble and won't be getting to the point. And that is not what you want me to do with your time. And then I needed to gather the items to do it. I needed to have my list to show you. I needed to have the notebooks. I had to gather the things I needed. I had to actually complete the homework that I was assigning you. How can I show you how to do it if I'm not doing it myself? And then I can record like I am now. Number two, you don't have what you need to do the project. If you don't, you're going to have to make a list and go by it. If what you don't have is the knowledge to do it, the first thing on your list is going to have to be research how to do it. And if you just don't see value in the project, then you need to stop and you need to reflect. It, why am I doing this project? Is it a home project? Who decided it should be done? Who decided I should be the one to do it? Did I get any input or any say into this? So I need to reflect on these things. And if there really is no value in the object, I have the choice to say, oh, I'm not going to do the project. But if I'm doing the project with someone else, I need to give them the opportunity to tell me why it's important to them and why it's important to them that I help them. Because then I may see value in the project. If this is a work project, this is a tricky one. If it's a work project, you basically are just going to have to decide, just do it. Unless you have a whole team under you that you can delegate to, if your boss has delegated it to you, you're just going to have to say, just do it. And I'll give you a good example. We had a project that was divided between our whole staff, and we needed to make cold calls. Each one of us had a list of people to make cold calls to. Cold calls are the thing I hate the most. So what I had to do was count how many days I had, and I divided my list up. You make X number of calls a day, and you make sure it's in before the deadline. Now, did I put it off throughout the day? Yes. But did I get them done before the deadline? Yes. I just did it, and that was a choice. Unless, of course, you're planning to leave your job or be let go from your job. Just kidding. Seriously. No, seriously. So anyway, here's an example from my life. I had decided I wanted to meal prep. And this was the only thing I was meal prepping was lunches to take to work 5 days a week. And I kept putting it off and not doing it. And then I was going through the book Atomic Habits by James Clear with my accountability partner. And so I decided I'm going to try this one more time. So I sat down and I thought, well, why don't I do it? Well, because I don't want to spend my whole weekend cooking. You know, I've got lots of things I need to do around the house. I've got things I would like to do just to relax and take care of me a little bit. And just frankly, I just did not want to do it. And yes, that was a choice. So then James Clear says any new habit that you start, you need to break down, and the first thing that you start on, it should be less than 2 minutes. It's like, okay, let me break this down. I need to decide what I'm going to pack. I need to make a list to go grocery shopping. I need to actually go grocery shopping. And then I need to put the lunches together. So here's what I did. On Thursdays, I decided what was going to be packed in my lunch. This is the schedule. I wrote this down on my monthly calendar. On Thursdays, decide what's going to be your lunches next week. Then make a list of what you need to buy. Bread, lunch meat, fruit, and individual bags of chips. Now, how hard is that? On Friday, I go grocery shopping. Friday's a half day at work, so that's the day I normally grocery shop. Just make sure I buy these 4 items in my grocery cart while I'm grocery shopping anyway. And then on Saturday, meal prep. So all I have to do is make 5 sandwiches, divide out 5 servings of fruit, and grab 5 bags of chips. Bag the sandwiches individually, put them in the refrigerator, then put the other items over on the counter in a basket, and make sure my family knows these are my lunches next week. They're not free to grab. And so then on Monday morning, when I'm getting ready to head out the door and I'm doing my flight check and I get to lunch, all I have to do is go to the refrigerator, grab a sandwich, go over to the basket, grab my fruit, grab my chips, put it all in my lunch tote, and I've got my lunch. Now, if you had asked me about this all those times I was putting it off, I would have said, well, there's no value in it. I don't see a reason for it. There's no value in it. But the truth is, there is value in it. It saves me money. I have a healthier lunch than if I'm going through a fast food drive through and eating. Plus, it frees up time on my lunch break for me to spend on me, whether it's to meditate or to walk or to listen to music or read a book. I get to do a little self care on my lunch break instead of driving in my car and riding through the drive through and eating enough calories for lunch for the whole day. Now, your homework for this week is to add due dates to the projects on your brain dump. Is there a project that's overwhelming you or a project that you keep putting off? Highlight it. Break it down into its smallest components and put them in the order that they need to be done. Then bring your brain dump and your current monthly calendar next week. Bring your to-do lists, the ones top 3, easy 3, next 3. Have that list ready to write these individual projects on it. And then bring all of that to the next session, and we're going to get them in order, and we're going to get them on our calendar, and we're going to get you ready to fly. Full disclosure, I am a Tula 12 independent brand ambassador. And yes, when we do the monthly calendars and so forth, you will see that I use their inserts. That's because I like them. They helped me get started on this journey, and that's what I want to use. If you want to use Tula 12, you can. I'll be glad to hook you up, show you all about it. But you do not have to. You can use any calendar that you can write on, and you can use any journal to write in, and you can make your list in that very same notebook, either on the same page or beside it. In fact, for my brain dumps, I've got them all on 2 pages right here. I do my brain dump, I prioritize my 3 lists, and this is where the large projects get broken down. So I've got them all right there, right in front of me. You have a beautiful evening, and we'll see you next time.